Many people feel like no matter how hard they work, getting ahead financially keeps becoming more difficult. Wages struggle to keep up with living costs, debt has become normalized, housing feels increasingly unaffordable, and the gap between ordinary workers and the wealthy continues growing wider. It's easy to assume the system is simply broken, but some critics argue something even more unsettling, that the system is actually functioning the way it was designed to. Today we will talk about the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed against you, so before we get started, make sure to hit that like button, also subscribe to my channel. 10. Most people believe the system is failing by accident. When people struggle financially despite working hard, the usual explanation is that something in the system must be broken. Rising living costs, debt, stagnant wages, housing problems, and financial inequality often feel like unintended consequences of a flawed economy. Many assume these problems exist because leaders made mistakes, or because the economy temporarily stopped functioning properly. But over time, more people are beginning to question a deeper possibility. What if many parts of the system are not failing accidentally at all? 9. The economy depends on continuous consumption. Modern economies rely heavily on consumer spending to keep growing. Businesses need customers constantly buying products, upgrading technology, financing lifestyles, and participating in markets continuously. This means economic systems naturally encourage consumption at nearly every level. Advertising, social pressure, easy credit, subscription models, and financing options all push people toward spending more consistently. A population focused heavily on consumption keeps money flowing through the economy, but it also makes long-term financial independence harder for ordinary households. 8. Debt keeps people financially dependent. One of the most powerful tools within modern economies is debt. Mortgages, student loans, car financing, credit cards, and consumer borrowing allow people to access lifestyles immediately while committing future income toward repayment. Debt itself is not always negative, but large-scale dependence on debt creates long-term financial pressure. Many households spend decades working primarily to maintain obligations they already committed to years earlier. 7. Inflation quietly reduces purchasing power. Inflation is another hidden force shaping modern financial life. As prices rise over time, the purchasing power of wages and savings slowly declines unless income and investments grow fast enough to compensate. This creates a constant pressure, where workers must continue earning more simply to maintain the same standard of living. Inflation also encourages people to keep money moving through the economy instead of holding large amounts of idle cash. Over long periods, inflation quietly transfers wealth toward asset owners, while weakening the financial position of people relying mainly on wages and savings alone. 6. The system rewards ownership more than labor. One of the biggest realities many people eventually notice is that modern economies reward ownership far more aggressively than labor. Workers trade time for income, but owners benefit from businesses, investments, real estate, and scalable assets that continue generating value independently. Labor income usually grows slowly and remains limited by time. Ownership, however, can scale exponentially through compounding and leverage. This creates a system where people who already own productive assets often grow wealth much faster than people depending entirely on paychecks. 5. Education often trains workers more than owners. Most traditional education systems focus heavily on preparing people for employment, rather than teaching ownership, investing, leverage, tax strategy, or wealth-building systems. Students learn how to become productive workers, follow schedules, meet expectations, and operate within organizations. Far less time is spent teaching how money itself works, how assets compound, or how businesses create leverage. As a result, many people enter adulthood highly trained to earn wages but poorly prepared to build scalable wealth independently. 4. Financial complexity benefits institutions. Modern financial systems are extremely complex. Taxes, investments, banking, insurance, debt markets, retirement systems, and corporate structures all involve layers of rules difficult for ordinary people to fully understand. Large institutions, however, employ teams of specialists managing these systems strategically every day. Complexity itself becomes an advantage, because financially educated individuals and institutions can navigate the system far more effectively than average consumers. The less people understand financially, the easier it becomes for systems to extract value quietly through fees, interest, inflation, and behavioral habits. 3. Time scarcity keeps most people focused on survival. Many workers spend most of their energy maintaining daily life, working long hours, managing bills, commuting, handling responsibilities, and recovering from stress. This leaves limited time for studying financial systems, building businesses, investing strategically, or developing scalable income streams. The structure of modern life itself often keeps people focused on short-term survival rather than long-term ownership and leverage. When people are constantly financially pressured, they have less energy available to question the system deeply or escape it strategically. 2. Wealth concentrates through systems, not individual effort alone. One major reason inequality continues expanding is because wealth compounds through systems over generations. Investments generate returns. Businesses expand. Real estate appreciates. Capital creates more capital. Once wealth reaches certain levels, financial growth accelerates because larger asset pools generate larger returns automatically. Meanwhile, people without ownership remain dependent mainly on labor income, which compounds much more slowly. Over time, this creates widening gaps even when ordinary workers continue working extremely hard. 1. The system was built to keep capital flowing upward through ownership, debt, and consumption. The deeper truth about modern economies is not necessarily that every part of the system is secretly malicious. It is that the incentives inside the system naturally favor institutions, asset owners, lenders, and capital much more than ordinary labor alone. Because the truth is simple, economies driven by debt, inflation, consumption, and asset ownership tend to move wealth upward toward those who control businesses, investments, financial systems, and scalable assets over time. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comment section below. Before you go, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.